Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. Today we're going to do a vintage card because I've got this absolutely lovely stamp from Indigo Blue. It's called Not Today and it's got the most gorgeous, lovely vintage lady on there. I think she's just stunning and will work really well as a vintage card. So we're going to use the lady from here. We are going to use the Anemone and script, and I'm going to use that script because again it's got that vintage look to it. And I've also got, so I'm going to use cream. I've got a piece of just script which we're going to sort of distress and make it a bit more vintage. And then I've got a square card, and my mats are 5.5 inches, and this is in a brown, I think it's soft suede, and then the cream is 5.25 inches square. You can do whatever you want, you can use whatever pieces you've got. I'm just using this because I've got it. So I want this to go across on here, so I'm going to just tear it down on here, because I want that sort of, you know, slightly distressed look to it. And I'm going to tear it across on here, because if you're trying to do a vintage card, you don't want it to be completely straight lines and things. Now I know I've got that with my mat and I could have taken it out from there, but for me, I don't like it completely distressed every piece. I like some uniformity, but not all the way. So I'm just doing this all the way around here to start off with. It's quite easy. You just sort of tear it down. It's quite a big piece, so I'm having to do it with, because my hands aren't that big. Take these little pieces, they can go in the rubbish. And then we'll put this on there. Now it's too big, so I need to take it smaller. So I'm actually going to take it quite easily smaller down on here. Now I know I've got this piece in the middle, but that's going to be covered up by the image, so I'm not that fussed with that piece. Let's take it down here. I just did it too big. Let's see what that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so we need to distress this. Now I'm going to use this side. This is my mucky side, and the other side is my clean side. I've got a sponge dauber, and I'm going to use crumb cake, because crumb cake is a really good, or a sort of a mid-brown colour, is really good for distressing. And I'm literally just going right over the edge. So I'm not even worrying too much about just sponging the edges. I want to do it right the way over, because I want that nice distressed look to it. Okay, so some of it's darker than the other, which is fine. It doesn't have to be uniform all the way over, but we're just doing that. So can you see that when I put this on here, you've then got that distressed look about it. Now on this piece, I am going to do the edges, but I'm just going to do the edges like this, so it doesn't come too far down, because I want a little bit of that cream, otherwise it's going to be hidden in the mat. So let's just sponge this down on here. And then we'll just, sponge daubers are really good because they're great at just literally going round. If you haven't got one, just use a piece of kitchen sponge cut down. I just have all of these now, so I'm I quite like these. And as I say, it doesn't matter if a little bit goes over the edge, because it's supposed to be that vintage type sepia look. Okay, so that's going to go on there, and you can see how that now has broken up that straight line. I'm still using a white card base because I want a white card base. So that's going to go on there, and that's fine like that. Now, around those edges, I want some more stamping. So I'm going to use, as I said, the lovely little script from here, and I'm going to use that with, just get a block out, put this in on the center like that. So I'm going to take this piece, and again I'm doing it on my mucky side because then I can turn it over, and I'm literally just taking it across on here. You see what a lovely script it is. Now you can use whatever you've got. People who've got the old Stampin' Up! Very Versailles, that would work perfectly. I just love this script. I think it's just lovely. So it's something that I really like. And I'm doing this so that it sort of runs over each other, because you're not going to actually read the words. But it doesn't need to be perfect on there like that. That's perfect like that, because you're only going to get a little bit of it showing. So, and that again has been done in the crumb cake. So if I take this, I'm not going to put my card base down because otherwise I'm going to get it grubby. So let's put this in on here like that. That piece is going to go on there. Can you see the difference in there? But again, it's got that lovely sort of scripty look about it, so I really like that. Okay, now we are going to, I shall clean that up in a minute. We are going to be using the, here we go, this lovely lady, Not Today, and I want to put her in on just another piece of the cream. Don't think she'll fit on that tiny little bit. No. Okay, and again I'm going to do her in the brown. I don't know whether I want to do her in crumb cake or I want something a bit darker. I think I'm going to have something a bit darker, so I'm going to choose, what's this one, excuse my arm coming up, Early Espresso, or a dark brown colour. I don't want to do it in what colour, I don't want to do it in black because that's going to be too stark. So I want to do it in, and I'm just making sure that I get it all the way over, because there's an awful lot of detail in this stamp. It is absolutely stunning, but there's an awful lot of detail, so you need to make sure that you've got everything inked. If you've got a detailed stamp, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that it's quite easy sometimes to just not get as much detail as you'd like. That's perfect. Okay, so I just need to put her in down on here like that, and then we're going to just give her a good press. Now I always say, if you want a really good image, you need to, I use a positioning tool, but again it's the sort of thing that you can just literally, if you just wait a few seconds and just leave it on there, it will then, there we go, it will then soak into the paper and you've got it. Now this, as you can see, it's the most gorgeous image. It really is. I absolutely love her. So I need to get myself my snips. Bear with me a second. Now, I can cut her out, which I'm going to do, or I could tear her. I'm going to cut her because I want to be able to just put her down, and I might add a few little layers. So I'm just getting my specs on so I can see, and I'm just going to, what I tend to do is I will roughly cut round it first, because then it's easier to just do the fussy cutting. And to be quite honest, it doesn't take too much. So we just want something sort of fairly flat across the bottom here, and then just bring it up on there, and then I'm just going to come round in on here. And as I've said before, I know I have new subscribers that come in that haven't maybe seen what I do, but I've always said, if you just turn your paper it's fairly easy to then cut things round. So when you get to an edge, just whoops, turn your paper not quite as at an angle like that. I'm making sure that I don't put my fingers on it until it's dried, so that's why I was being a little bit over. But I just love this image. It's just so beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going round here, and you can see you don't have to be too excited about it. You know, you just follow the lines quite easily and you can just take it in. Now, by doing it this way, I don't have to colour her in, and I don't want to colour in on this one. So that's given us our image. And again, just round the edge, I can have a look and see, do I want to? Yes, I do. So just round this edge, I'm just going to sponge to just give it a little bit of a distressed look again. Now, I haven't actually added any more on there because I don't want it too dark, but I just want that edge to not be just cream, too stark. So I am just going round and just giving it a bit. But as I say, I'm not adding any more ink. I might have to, but I don't want to add any more ink. Let me just, I think I might have to just add a little bit because I don't think I'm going to get all the way around on it, but I don't want it to be too dark. And I've just re-inked this ink pad, so it's quite good to be able to just do a little bit like that. Okay, that's fine. So that's given the edge not quite as, this is me noticing a little bit in there, not quite as stark as it was. Okay, now we can start putting the card together. So we're going to have this in on here. What have I done with my glue? Give me a second. Still on the, yeah, I'm doing some samples and things, so I was using the light from my desk because it's nice to use daylight light when you can, but my video camera is over my desk that has my light above so that you see it better. There we go. Let's pop this in on here. There we go. Okay, so that's that piece. This is going to come in on here. And again, I don't want to use too much. Because the edges can pop up a little bit. So we'll put that in on here like that. So you've got that piece. She's going to come in on the center. Now I've got a little bit of ribbon here somewhere. I think I was using it earlier on. Now have I put it away, or is it, oh no, here it is. Okay, I've got a little bit of ribbon. Now I think that might, so I want that just on there. Could do. Not too sure. I don't know really whether I want, just add a little bit more texture in on there, wouldn't it? If I wanted to have something on there, but I don't think I will. I'd probably use something like Hessian or whatever, which I think would be quite good, but I'm going to keep it like that. I'm going to keep it fairly simple. So, but as I say, you know, add bits and pieces as you see fit. Being a sort of a vintage card, you don't want to add things that won't go in. So that lace is quite a nice cream colour, which would work. What you could do as well is to take some tea dyed, you know, tea or coffee dyed. Now you see, that's beautiful. I love that. I think that works perfectly. Now, am I going to have, I think this is quite good, just no, not today. I think that's quite fun. I might just have that because I think that that's just a fun sort of word on there. Now let's have a little look on here and see. I haven't cleaned that one out. Let me take this one instead and put this on here. Now this hasn't been cut completely round, so I've got to be careful inking this. That don't be afraid with rubber stamps if you find that it just comes in on the edge too much. Don't be afraid to just cut it off. Now I've got little pieces here, so I'm just going to do it on here like this. That's it. And can you see how it's got a halo on it? But it doesn't matter because we're going to be cutting it up a bit. So I'm just going to cut it around here, but I will trim that stamp because it's got too much of a border around it that'll give that halo look. So I just need to make sure that I've done that and take that in like that. So I need to take that up a bit like that. Now I could just keep it like that. In fact, I am going to. So sponge it around the edges. And I might actually put this on with some lace or little bits behind it. Okay, so we've got that can come in like that. Just have it like that, couldn't I? Now I could put it in a little border of lace if I wanted to. That might work. Let's just have a little look like that. Yeah, you see, that sort of thing would work. I don't think I really want to. I think I just want to have it like that. Don't think I really want anything else in there. So I'm just going to put this down. You could mat it, you could, but as soon as you start doing too many mats and things like that, it starts looking, it doesn't look vintage. It doesn't look, have that, you know, slightly torn look. You want to have something that just isn't too much. So just no, not today. And then that's going to go onto the card base, which I moved out of the way so it wouldn't get mucky. I can turn this bit over now. I'm going to put this onto, here it is. So that's, whoops, that's my card base. So let's glue this onto here so we've got a nice finished card. Like that. And again, as I say, you could put lace round the bottom, so you could have lace running through that way. But again, I don't think so. Make sure I've got it opening the right way. I don't think so. I think sometimes it's that less is more. So if I put, I did turn it over so it's on a nicer piece. But as I say, you could put, if you wanted to, a little bit of lace down at the bottom, but I don't want that because it covers it up too much. I think that is just beautiful. I could have had something underneath here because my paper that's torn has finished at the bottom, but I don't think that matters either. I think that just sort of adds to the look. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.